This is how it works now. A person of some note or repute casts a negative light on another person of note or repute, and that person happens to be a media favorite. So, from that point forward, the media weaponizes and incentivizes the attacks on the person casting the negative light on their media darling. Opportunistic parties then rise to the occasion to try and drag their little star just a little higher up the food chain by feeding the narrative, again the media, a tidbit of information that could be real or imagined. The media then complies and runs with said tidbit in order to change the story or point of the person that they are now attacking. This is just a continuing pattern that we can see every day across all media, and it essentially making the media an accomplice in the destruction of everything. Now, I think we should talk about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hiss and foes, welcome to the Culture Casino!
At this point, of course, everyone has heard about the aftermath of the Meghan and Harry interview done by the now notorious oligarch, Orpah Winfrey. This interview is now having the seemingly opposite effect that the media would have liked. It's poking holes in the public perception of Meghan and Harry in recent polling, and it's showing the public's increasing awareness of the new media spin. Yeah, and it's calling into light their bias, which everybody knew was there, but is only getting worse day by day. In a very recent YouGov poll, Prince Harry's popularity landed at 1. That's the lowest in his entire lifetime. For Meghan, it's worse. It's far worse news, actually, for her, because her popularity is landing at a negative 26. Actually, here's a chart for comparison's sake, because visuals really drive this point home. Maybe it's the fact that a privileged actress and royal is trying to pretend that there's some form of oppression, and that is so ludicrous at this point that it's laughable. At any rate, the public isn't buying it any longer, and that's not even the real story. The real story begins here, with the fact that Piers Morgan was so irate with the presentation or the misrepresentation during a very fluffy interview that was throwing shade on the royal family. So he expressed himself. Eventually, this led to him quitting ITV's breakfast show entirely. And he was calling Meghan's integrity into question, and that doesn't seem to be allowed, it seems. What's odd is ITV reacted to, 41,000 people when it's well over 200,000 people that are showing support for Piers Morgan. So I don't know. This is a weird place to be. This obviously prompted a response from Piers Morgan's friend, Sharon Osbourne, and she's a member of the CBS talk show, The Talk. In fact, she rose to defend him. And then she was seemingly for him to apologize in some way. And of course, this exchange, which seems to have been heated, comes to the notice of more clout chasers. The people that I referred to in the beginning. And this actually comes to in the form of a minor celebrity and a former person that was on the panel of The Talk. Her name's Holly Robinson Peete, and she prized herself out of the obscurity that she found herself back in order to tweet the following. I'm old enough to remember when Sharon complained that I was too ghetto for The Talk, and then I was gone. I'm bringing this up now because I was mortified watching the disrespectful, condescending tone she took with her co-host, who remained calm and respectful because she had to. That's kind of funny, considering how many times... I don't even want to get into it. The Talk is trash. It's always been trash, and it's going to continue to be trash, but that's okay. Moving on. This type of media gets dragged up as a story by the likes of course, Deadline and many other trade magazines, and it's presented as news. And it adds fuel to the fire of an ever well, an ever-burning fire, actually. That fire is the collectivist mentality that exists today in Hollywood and in media as a whole, especially the mainstream. They are perfectly happy to toss books, films, opinions, and even people into that fire of hate that they're seeing as their last chance to remain front and center before being disregarded in a form of disgrace. It's the last chance for them to destroy the very culture that America and other countries have built up over the last 100 to even less, maybe 50 years, right? Of course, the end game is to cancel Sharon Osbourne now, of course. And as we can see here, CBS has already launched into an investigation because of said heated exchange. Yay, that's happened more than a few times on that show. I guess now we're going to start investigating it. We need to go back in time. There were a lot of times there were heated exchanges on that show. I digress. We really need to keep an eye on this particular story and what's happening around it, because as I'm no Sharon Osbourne fan, I'm very much in favor of her being able to speak out in support of her friend Piers Morgan. I'm also very keen on Piers Morgan being able to offer his informed opinion as well. Ironically, Piers Morgan has returned the favor for Sharon Osbourne and has demanded CBS apologize for their treatment and their shaming of her, which, of course, they're doing in a very public way. And let's exercise some intellectual honesty here, at least on my part. I really couldn't care one way or another about the royal family as a whole. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. It is a playground for, Anglophiles, right? But let's say at best I have a passing interest, but I do keep myself informed, and I read extensively any and all coverage when I research a story, which I pride myself on having a lot of information. To that end, I present to you a counter perspective to the Meghan Markle interview from her half-sister's Samantha's book, right? And she's alleging that she has some evidence to counter what Meghan presented. Again, you'd have to go and read the book. Not something I'm interested in doing, but at least I'm presenting you the opportunity to get more information from another perspective. I hope that at some point, all this madness ends. Hope is not a plan, however, as I have heard very many times from a person here on the platform that I respect very, very much. So until it ends, we find ourselves doing battle with all of this fake narrative and the fake news that's being presented as real information. We will bring it to light and continue to bring to light all the Twitter manipulation that goes on a daily basis, including deleting likes and hiding retweets. We will call into question the libelous hit piece articles that are being distributed now with supporting videos that absolutely make no sense and, again, don't really make the point that they're trying to make. And then we will also knock down the straw man arguments that are presented each and every day because, hey, that's fun too. We now do the job of citizen journalists and commentators that are finding even more credibility with audiences than the mainstream media. This has been growing over time, and I think it's going to continue to. In fact, I have no doubts. We actually do the job of comedians and stage performers at this point, entertaining people in an engaging way that the mainstream now seemingly doesn't have the capability of doing, at least not any longer. We are the audience itself, and we are the audience that's been abandoned by an industry that used to cater to us as fans or supporters or people that put money in their pockets. But let's pay attention. Let's criticize, but most importantly, let's just move forward. Anyway, that's it for today's story. Let's be sure to keep an eye on everything around it, shall we? Well, I'm going to apologize for the lengthy soliloquy there at the end, but you know what? I was truly feeling it, and I believe everything I said's pretty spot on. Hopefully you do too. Be sure to support other independent creators here, as they don't have a mechanism like the mainstream supporting them and driving their numbers each and every day. They rely on you, just like I do. I want to say thank you for each and every one of your support, those of you who watch the videos, those of you turn the little bell icon for all notifications. That's especially helpful. And those of you who comment regularly, because that really does drive the algorithm now, even more so than it ever did before. So be sure to do that. Of course, you can always share this out anywhere you'd like to. That would be great. Builds the channel. I appreciate that as well. Again, I'll end this video the way I do almost every single one, which is be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. It really is. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.